Okay, we're recording.
All right.
So the team activity, I think we're supposed to discuss our challenges for our project one writing assignment and how we as a team collaborated to help each other overcome our challenges. So Greg, since you're done with, not Greg, Kyle, since you're done with yours, do you want to talk about your challenges?
So the biggest problem, and I'm gonna pull up the document because at the end of that project, it asked for me to submit a list of the challenges that I found that I had, and I have that saved here, so I can actually open it up and read all of the challenges as opposed to just trying to remember them.
So this is the assignment you submitted already. That's due on Monday.
Right.
Okay.
Next Monday. So the list of concerns that I had listed out was that I was concerned that the details I provided might be overly focused on the visual senses and missed what it actually felt like to be in the space. I kind of described what was around me to tell people what was there, but I didn't really go into like smells and touch and any of the other senses. It was more just sight unseen. The next problem that I said, because I did this over at Desert Ridge, it was the Starbucks and the Barnes and Noble that I did it on. So I thought that the reader needed more information about Barnes and Noble, Starbucks, and Desert Ridge, but I struggled with how much context to provide. So I tried to give enough information so that it was understandable, but I didn't really badger it because I figured that people would know what I was talking about. You know, it's a Starbucks at a Barnes and Noble. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
It looked like the screen was frozen. That's all.
Yeah, I think I guess based on what he had shared, do you think it would be better to provide more and then later on you could always go back to edit and remove if it seems like it's too much?
That's the way I went. I went way over detailed, and if he looks at it and he's like, "What the hell is this?" I can always just remove it afterwards.
Right. Good.
So that was number 2. Number 3, I said I worry the profile could be better organized. It seems a little jumpy, and it was really because there was so much going on in there that it was kind of hard to focus on one topic. It's I think it was like 1,600 words total.
Okay.
And the different clientele, there was everything from teenagers to elderly people. People didn't pick up their books. They'd walk into the Starbucks area with like 6 books. They'd read them and then they'd leave them on the tables and just walk away. And I asked one of the people that worked there if that was normal. And he was like, nope, it's just really rude. It's not something that you do. It's not like leaving a tray behind and we're supposed to clean it up. It's just something that people do. There were just a lot of things that I observed in there. Also, I found out that it's not actually a Starbucks. It's a Barnes and Noble cafe that is designed to look exactly like a Starbucks. It's in partnership with a Starbucks, but the baristas and people that work there are actually Barnes and Noble employees.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I just need to spend some more time structuring.
Okay.
So I was concerned that the profile may not have enough emotion to be engaging to the readers, which is one of the things that they kind of pushed with those other 3 profiles that we read. So that having that human emotion kind of made it relatable to the reader, where it's not really an emotional topic walking into a coffee shop. So it was kind of hard to for some people, but
or maybe have the coffee shop be the kind of like seeing it from a person's perspective. So the coffee shop being a person. So if someone were to leave the tray there, you know, how do you think that coffee shop would feel? I don't know.
Right.
I'm just throwing it out. Like, are we supposed to see our spaces in terms of that perspective?
Right.
Like having an identity?
Right. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. He was trying to see if there was a specific identity that the place carried. So that might be a way to evaluate that, is looking at it from how the store itself
Mm-hmm.
sees the people that come through it.
How did you narrow down? Did you have like two places in mind, and how did you narrow it down to this cafe?
So I had I had like 6 spaces originally. I'm gonna open that document. I save pretty much everything because I have a horrible memory. So that was the writing process, secondary sources, student consent, sample profiles. I'm trying to find the one that it actually was. I think it was the sample profiles. No, it wasn't. So the one that I was looking for, I was trying to find something that was just different from all the other places, and I actually work at a facility downtown that's kind of different from where everybody else. I was going to originally use it, and then I saw that we couldn't use a place that we work.
Mm-hmm.
But I was between using a park. I tried to do the Desert Ridge Mall because it's an outdoor mall and there's such a wide variety of people with like live performances and stuff. It's just very different from any mall that I'd ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up doing the Barnes and Noble, and specifically the Starbucks that was inside of it, because I sat down in all 3 of the locations that I'd originally picked for like 20 minutes and tried to see if there was anything that I could actually elaborate on for more than 1,000 words. And something that was interesting and changing. And the other topics that I had were just too broad. It was hard to narrow down any details about them. And the cafe actually may be too narrow, but I mean, I got a pretty good project out of it. So
Cool. I can't wait to read that.
it came out all right. It's like you said, we need to leave room for improvement. So
Cool.
we did the rough draft. What are you doing yours on?
So I did have 2 in mind. Oh, Eduardo just emailed. Hold on, let me just check it. Oh my gosh, he's like replying to one of my old email, like, check on the link, guys. So I had 2 places in mind. I live in California and I work in San Francisco. Right. So I had Coit Tower because it's near my work and I go there every day. I walk up there during lunch to get some exercise. So it was either between that and a place that I had visited in Larkspur. It's called Dawn Fall. It's a hiking trail. And okay. It's just an amazing place. It has a lot of redwood, and it's almost like a gem in the city. You wouldn't. I've lived here almost all my life, and I've never seen anything that spectacular.
Right.
So I thought I decided to go with Dawn Fall because Coit Tower, I think it's just too popular. You could do a lot of Google search and learn a lot about it that. I don't think it's enticing enough for my readers to go visit this place. So I think I could be really creative with the other place that I've picked, Dawn Fall. Hopefully not too many people know about it, and just work on. So basically this place, when I took my kids to, our goal was to see a waterfall there. And when we got there, we kept walking and walking. And of course, due to the drought, we didn't see a waterfall. Right. So I'm trying to link that with all the other senses that are heightened as soon as you step into this trail. You have the tall redwoods, you have the open, clean space. So I think I could be really creative in writing that piece. But my challenge is coming up with the questions to ask people that are visiting that place. So I think I'm going to go there and just see if it would help me come up with some questions.
Cool. Yeah, the things that I looked for were demographics, as far as, you know, like age, race, gender, things that people were coming in. I was trying to see if there was any way to narrow it down, but I don't remember going to a coffee shop when I was a kid, but I mean, there were like 8, 10-year-old kids that were walking in there and getting coffee and sitting down at a table and playing cards. So there was such a wide variety of people that were coming in there. You might have a different group that comes to that trail. It might be more younger.
Okay.
I don't normally see there, but that was one way that I was able to narrow down what my focus was going to be,
Okay.
and explain the area, was the type of people that were coming out there and what they were coming there for. A lot of people use the area as a meeting area. Some people used it for recreation. Some people just cut through it because they're lazy and they didn't want to walk around the building, so they just walked straight to the building and then go out the other door. I saw a couple writers come in there and people watch, which was really interesting because they were watching me watching them, and it was creepy. It was, but yeah,
Interesting.
that
I like that. I like the demographics and the purpose of why they're there. I could
Right.
definitely start getting some creative questions going.
Where I am, I have a lot of hiking trails where they do like public education things. I don't know if they do that on that trail, but they have like this giant map set up, and they explain to the kids. It'll be like 8 in the morning before they take the group out hiking. They'll explain to them the types of animals that they'll find on the trail and the history of the trail and the area where they are. And
No, when I went there, I don't recall seeing that, but I'm going there this morning again, so I'll definitely take a look at that to see if they have it. But this one, believe it or not, it's almost tucked behind, like, you know, a group of homes, and I want to say I wouldn't be surprised if the local homeowners are the ones that are kind of keeping this trail, upkeeping this trail, and so forth. And it really connects to a beach and Mount Tam after. So it's a really lengthy trail.
that'd be another interesting piece of that, is if it was maintained by locals as opposed to it
Right.
being a city responsibility to take care of it. Definitely.
Oh, thanks. I didn't even think about that. Local. Okay. Thank you for helping me with that one.
Of course.
So I think that's all I have. I'm going to go there and gather some interviews and take some more pictures. Did you take some pictures of people walking by?
Yeah, I did. If you go over to the group link, you'll see that I've posted my profile, and I have pictures inside of there, so you can see the way I kind of like laid it out. But I tried to do perspective photos without people, so you could see the barriers that were there. There were open barriers, but there would be like a wallpaper line where the Barnes and Noble went from being a library or a bookstore to a coffee shop, and the ceiling tiles changed and the lighting changed. It was like walking into a completely different store.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if there'd be any dividing areas, but like you said, you come in on the redwoods and maybe it turns into desert halfway in, or something that those redwoods would make it unique, you know?
Yeah. I'll definitely look at that.
So as far as what the responsibilities were that they wanted us to have as the reporter, there were 3 things that I was supposed to ask, and I just want to make sure that we hit on all of them. It said who attended and what each team member contributed. So I'll be able to do what we each contributed to each other after we're done with this. It says to have a discussion of the challenges and how these challenges will be overcome. I talked about some of the challenges that I had. Can you think of any other challenges that you had?
No, I talked about it, and you did help me through thinking of some questions, so that's great.
Awesome. Yeah, and the last point was the new information that resulted from the teams collaborating with each team member, and we just talked about how you're going to go out and do your research, and I'm going to have to go out and do more primary and secondary research. I think I think maybe I'll include a few interviews, have some people sign the consent forms,
Right.
to give it more of a personable perspective to it. But
Cool.
All right. So when I was talking to those other guys, Eddie and Janet, I was telling them that, it's still early, and he was saying that he hasn't had a lot, he hasn't gotten a lot done on it yet. He's still kind of working on it. So I was suggesting that we have a second meeting time after we all kind of feel like we have things put together to make sure before the paper is due that we've worked through all these issues and we've gotten, our papers as good as they can be before we submit them, kind of thing,
Okay.
if we can help each other out. I know it was hard enough to try and set this one up, so
Okay. So it seems like Sundays were working, but I don't know why they didn't. I don't know. So I'm going to post that. I'm going to send an email, and I'm going to
Right.
post it on our group discussion board within Boa Constrictor with the time, and hopefully people could just all build on the feed. And I'm just still going to propose Sunday at 8:00 next Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to stop
the rough
broadcast
draft-
on this, and I'll send you the link
Okay.
to our recording here.
Cool.
Okay. See you next week.
All right. Have a good week.
You too.